Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take a whole stack of sources, analyst notes, articles, technical specs, and just boil it all down so you get what's essential fast.
Yep. And today we are digging into the future of Volvo. Specifically, some very interesting breadcrumbs they've been dropping about their 2027 EX60 electric SUV.
Right. And what we have isn't, some glossy press release. It's the nitty-gritty details, the preliminary specs.
And that's where it gets exciting. Our mission today is to unpack what look like three huge leaps Volvo is making here.
This isn't just a small step up. We're talking about a push for class-leading range, genuinely ultra-fast charging, and some really radical changes to how they actually build the car.
And you can see that ambition in just the one headline number they're floating. They estimate the EX60 will get up to 400 miles of range.
400 miles. Okay, that is a number that gets your attention in the EV world.
A huge number.
So let's start there. This 400-mile claim. It's important we say this up front. This is preliminary, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's based on Volvo's own modeling of the EPA test cycles. It's not officially certified. Not yet.
But even as a target, that sets a massive new benchmark.
It does. I mean, to really get it, you have to look at what they're selling right now. Their biggest SUV, the EX90, that gets, what, maybe 310 miles on a good day?
And the smaller ones, the EX30 and EX40, they're under 300.
Exactly. So you're talking about a jump of nearly 100 miles over their current flagship. That's not just, sticking a bigger battery in. That's fundamental change.
It also puts them right up against the competition.
Yeah.
The sources point out that BMW is claiming something similar for its new iX3.
It really feels like 400 miles is becoming the new price of admission for a luxury EV.
So why does this matter so much to you, the listener? I mean, is this the end of range anxiety?
It's a huge step toward it. The thinking is that 400 miles plus a charging network that is finally getting pretty good, well, that should be enough for even the most nervous EV buyer.
Yeah. I do wonder, though, is 400 miles really the goal, or is it more about marketing? I mean, for 99% of my driving, 300 miles is already more than enough.
That's a totally fair point. For your daily commute, yeah, it's overkill. But the real win with 400 miles is flexibility. It's about those edge cases.
Like a long road trip.
A road trip, and this is a big one, towing. Towing can just destroy an EV's range, sometimes cutting it by 30 or 40%.
Right.
So if you start with 400 miles, you can still comfortably tow a trailer, maybe 240 miles. That's a real-world capability that, frankly, their current EVs just don't have.
So it's about making the electric SUV a true utility vehicle, no compromises.
Exactly. But we have to add the fine print. That 400-mile number is under ideal conditions.
Of course.
Put on bigger tires, the weather gets cold, you drive uphill on the highway, that number is going to drop. But starting higher means the drop is less painful.
Physics is undefeated. Okay, so that's the distance. Let's pivot to the second part of the equation, time.
Yeah.
A huge battery is useless if it takes all afternoon to charge.
And this is where we get into the guts of the EX60. It's built on Volvo's brand new electrical platform. They're calling it SPA3.
And the key part of SPA3 is that it's an 800-volt architecture.
That's the magic number.
Let's just pause on that for a second. We hear 800-volt thrown around a lot. What does that actually mean for someone plugging their car in?
Okay, so think of electricity like water in a hose. Voltage is the pressure. Current is how much water is flowing. By doubling the voltage from the usual 400 volts to 800, you can move the same amount of power with half the current. Less current means way less heat.
And less heat is the key to charging faster without damaging the battery.
Exactly. You can push energy in faster and for longer. Plus, as a side benefit, you can use thinner, lighter wires in the car, which helps with efficiency and, gets you closer to that 400-mile range.
So it's not just for charging. It's a piece of the whole efficiency puzzle.
Yeah.
So what are the actual numbers? How fast is it?
The numbers are pretty stunning. Volvo is claiming you can add 168 miles of range in just 10 minutes.
168 miles in 10 minutes.
Wow. And the system itself can handle charging speeds up to 400 kilowatts.
400 kilowatts. That's huge. That puts them right next to the BMW iX3, which claims 175 miles in 10 minutes. They're basically neck and neck.
They are. And what's interesting is it's even a step up from Volvo's own ES90 sedan, which is also 800 volt, but tops out at 350 kilowatts.
So how did the EX60 get that extra boost?
The sources say it's a combination of the new platform and some very smart software. They're working with a partner company, Breathe Battery Technologies.
And what do?
They're all about the software that manages the battery, particularly temperature. They use AI to constantly monitor the cells so they can push power at the absolute maximum safe limit without, frying anything.
So the hardware provides the potential, but the software unlocks it.
Precisely.
This speed is what lets Volvo make that very bold marketing claim that charging is nearly as fast as a fuel stop.
And that's a bit of a stretch, let's be
Right.
honest.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Our sources were pretty critical of that line. I mean, even a slow gas pump gives you 300 plus miles of range in 5 minutes tops.
Yeah.
10 minutes for 168 miles is amazing progress. It's fantastic. But we are not quite at gas station speed yet.
So we have the range, about 400 miles. We have the speed, 168 miles in 10 minutes. But neither of those things just happens. They're possible because of the third big leap, how the car is actually built.
This is where it gets really interesting, I think. We're moving from the battery to the bones of the car, and the key idea here is called megacasting.
Megacasting, it sounds very futuristic, so break it down for us.
Okay, so a normal car body is like a complicated Lego project. It's hundreds of small, stamped metal pieces that are all welded and bonded together. It's complex, it's time-consuming.
Right.
Megacasting throws that out. It replaces those hundreds of little pieces with one single massive part that's cast from molten aluminum in a giant press.
So instead of a patchwork quilt of metal, you get one solid foundation, like a giant cast iron pan.
That's a perfect analogy. The EX60 is the first Volvo that will use it, and they're following Tesla's lead here. The benefits are huge, and they tie directly back to the range and performance.
So what are those benefits? Why go to all this trouble?
Number one is weight. Getting rid of all those welds and overlapping parts makes the car lighter, which is absolutely critical for hitting that 400-mile range.
Okay, that makes sense.
Second, it makes manufacturing way simpler and cheaper. And third, that single piece is much stiffer than a bunch of pieces welded together. That helps with handling and safety.
And this structural innovation doesn't stop with just the frame, does it?
No, they're doing something else that's becoming the new standard for high-end EVs. It's called cell-to-body technology.
Meaning the battery itself is part of the car's structure.
Exactly. The battery isn't just a heavy box bolted to the bottom anymore. The battery case is the floor of the car. It's a core part of the skeleton.
So it's not just cargo, it's a structural member.
Yeah.
That must make the whole car feel incredibly solid.
It adds a ton of rigidity, which is great for handling, and it also lets them make the cabin floor totally flat. Plus, they're so confident in this integrated design that they're offering a 10-year warranty on the battery pack.
So just to place this for everyone, the EX60 fits between the smaller EX40 and the big EX90. It's basically the size of the current XC60.
Right into the hottest, most competitive part of the luxury market. We'll see the whole thing on January 21st, and it should go on sale later in the year for around $60,000 to start.
Okay, but before we wrap up, we have to talk about the huge trade-off here. Megacasting sounds great for manufacturing, but the sources we read raised a major red flag for the consumer.
This is the elephant in the room with this technology. The massive downside is repairability.
What do you mean?
Well, if the frame is one single giant piece, what happens when you get into an accident? Even a moderate one.
You can't just replace one small bent part.
You can't. If a structural point on that huge casting gets compromised, you might have to replace the entire thing. The cost of that part, plus the labor to do it, can easily be more than the car is worth.
So it makes it much, much easier to total a car.
Way easier. A fender bender that would be a simple fix on a traditionally built car could send a $60,000 EX60 straight to the scrapyard.
That's a massive deal. That has to affect insurance rates.
It has to. The insurance companies are looking at this, and their risk models are going haywire.
But
the manufacturer saves money on assembly, but the owner could end up paying for it with higher premiums and the risk of their car being written off for what seems like minor damage.
So to recap, the EX60 really feels like the next generation. We've got the huge 400-mile range estimate, the super fast charging, and it's all enabled by this holistic engineering approach with the 800-volt system and megacasting.
Absolutely. But the trade-offs are very real, and that's what we want to leave you, the listener, thinking about.
Right. This design maximizes efficiency, but it also really increases the financial risk for the owner in an accident.
So the provocative thought we'll leave you with is this. What is the right balance for the industry going forward? How do you weigh efficient, simplified manufacturing against the need for cars to actually be repairable at a reasonable cost for the person who owns it?
That is the big question. Because the answer to that will determine the true long-term cost of owning one of these incredible new vehicles.
We really hope we've managed to explain these details clearly and giving you a good handle on what the EX60 is promising, but also what the potential hidden costs might be.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us for this deep dive.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you trusting us to put these sources together for you.
We'll catch you on the next one.